Hi everyone, it's me, Tim. Today I want to talk about melee attacker positioning. This was something I found in my notes. I was going through my notes again, and this time I was in Carbine. And I found this in the section when I was programming director. For the first 3 years, I was working on WildStar at Carbine. I was programming director. In the last 3 years, I was design director. This is in the first part of the notes. When I was program director, when my job was to find solutions to some early game problems we were having, and then assign programmers to them. The particular problem I was looking for is how to assign positions to melee attackers. So here's the problem in a nutshell. So you want multiple melee attackers, these are people using handheld weapons with small range, to be able to attack the same target at the same time. However, the attackers come in different sizes, and the target obviously comes in different sizes. You can have man-sized targets up to big, like dragon-sized targets. Note that ranged is always easy to handle, because if something has a ranged attack, all it needs is line of sight with its target, and once it's got line of sight, it can just shoot. But the melee attackers needed to move up to the target, and I didn't want them standing on top of each other, and I don't want them all on one side, and I don't want them bunched up. The solution I came up with was something I called the reservation system, because I thought of it like you have a table and there's a bunch of seats at it, and you can make reservations for those seats. If you've ever had a programming class, this is the dining philosopher program, and so it could have issues related to that. But it turns out when there's a limited number of seats, you can usually brute force it. This is the method I had in my notes for how I solved this. So each target manages its own reservation. So it knows what locations around it melee attackers can stand at. Small creatures may only have a couple spots. Man-sized creatures usually have 4, 1 in the front, 2 on each side, and 1 behind. Big creatures might have 8 or even 16 spots that things can stand at. It doesn't have to be a multiple 2. It just whatever makes sense to be around a creature. So like a crocodile may only be man-sized, but because it's lying down, it can usually maybe have 6 people around it. A horse may have 6 people as well, even though it's much bigger than the crocodile. Whatever makes sense for the creature. And then when a melee attacker wants to attack that creature, it asks the creature for a reservation. I would like a seat, please. And the target looks up a free location around it and offers it to that attacker. Oh, you may attack me on my left flank. That melee attacker then has to go to that location and then confirm it's there. Thank you, I'm in my location now. If a certain amount of time passes and the melee attacker hasn't confirmed that it's there, then the creature can either give its reservation to someone else or request confirmation. Hey, I told you could have that seat. What's going on? And it may return, hey, I'm still headed in. It may be able to say, I don't want it anymore or something. Maybe the attacker on the way in died. Or if the target can't contact that creature, then it just loses its reservation. Now, there are a couple things we had to wiggle around on this to make it work. If you're a big attacker, like let's say you're a big ogre-like thing, you may require 2 seats at the table. I called it a joining reservation. So when you requested a seat, there was a flag. Do you need adjoining seats? What was interesting about that is, and this is part of the dining philosopher problem, is you can imagine a creature that has 4 seats, but if there's already 2 people attacking it, it may not have 2 adjoining ones. Like if it has somebody in front and behind, well, it has 2 seats on either side, but they're not next to each other. What I found was I could have the target, if that happened, if the target said, well, I've got 2 free seats, but they're not next to each other, it would ask people to move. And say, hey, you person behind me, you've lost your reservation, but there's a free attack spot here on my right. What was interesting about that was in play, what would happen was you'd see like someone being attacked by a creature in the front and behind, and then this ogre would start going over, and you'd see the one in behind move to one side, and then the ogre would come in back here, taking up those two spots and start hitting it. It was fun to see the smaller melee attackers step aside for a bigger one to show up. There were also things I had to take care of where you had to have the target creature cancel all the reservations. Not just one. Not saying, hey, I offered you a reservation and you've never confirmed it. But sometimes the target creature may go, hey, all you people attacking me, all you people holding reservations, they're canceled. This, of course, happens if the target creature dies. And then all those people can go, oh no, I lost my reservation. Who do I want to attack? And since the target creature no longer shows up on the attacking creature's list of enemies, they'll go off to someone else to attack. But another thing that the target can do that would cancel all reservations, we discovered when we were making it, if the creature jumps really far, like the creature can jump, that just cancels all the reservations. And then when it lands at its new place, it will then give out reservations. So everybody runs into new spots around the creature. Same thing if it teleports. Also, if it flies, like if there's a dragon on the ground and it's got a bunch of people around it attacking it and the dragon takes off, it cancels all those reservations and it flies for a while. Now, if any of those creatures have ranged attacks, they can switch to their ranged attacks. But until the dragon lands again, it doesn't offer anyone any melee reservations. This system worked. We implemented it in WildStar at Carbine, and it worked. It worked great. I thought it was pretty cool. It was pretty simple. And I never even thought about it until recently. I was talking with someone at Obsidian, and they brought up some issue they were working on, and I mentioned this melee reservation system. Went and looked through my notes, found it. First time I've thought about it in, wow, probably 18 years. But anyway, there it is. And if you need something like that in one of your games, have at it.